Welcome everyone to my basement, and I am about to embark on a journey this winter to build my track bike from scratch. If you've been following my YouTube channel for a few years, you know that my old track bike was a ZX7, and here we are. I rebuilt it a couple of years ago, and I switched to a manual cam chain tensioner, and I had it adjusted incorrectly, and as a result my engine seized because the cam chain guide disintegrated because the tensioner was too tight. So the chain rubbed on it so much that it disintegrated, clogged the cylinder number 3, and caused some rod damage. So I dropped the motor, and the reason why the bike is like this on the floor and not on the stands is because I removed the suspension as well. So there's my Penske shock, and my forks are over there in the corner on the other side of the basement. I'm not going to be doing a suspension refresh, but I will be bringing this bike back to life. I will be building this motor from scratch, touching up some of the pieces, making sure it's clean, and I'll take you real quick just to see the engine components. So a lot of this stuff is already laid out: the clutch, the cams, valve covers, over here clutch covers. I got various parts over here, and this is H2 stuff right here, but over here you can see the oils, the oil pan. You can see the metal shavings in there from the rod bearing that went. And I'm going to bring you over here to this side, and these are the flat slide carbs. These are FCR 41mm flat slide carbs. These are the OEM flat slide carbs that came with the ZX7R. I won't be using these. And these are the CV carbs, the K-hins that come stock with the ZX7, but they have a dyno jet kit in there. You can see I already actually got to work. This was the rod bearing that failed, and I got the velocity stacks if I so decided I wanted to switch. The way it's set up now, it's set up to use the stock airbox. So I have adapters here, and I have some aluminum tape covering it just to avoid any leaks. And then these are the stock boots, stock rubber stacks for the stock airbox. Over here is the transmission and the crank, and so you can see the other rods here. I took number 3 off. I'm actually going to be replacing the bearings on all of them, and this is the transmission over here. Everything is actually fine. The bike didn't have that many miles on it when it went. It only had about 8 miles on it, unfortunately, but these things happen. So the first part of my build, and this is going to be a build series, the first part of my build, I'm going to be cleaning all of the engine components, and once I get everything cleaned, I'm going to start with the engine assembly. And I probably will take my time with this build. I'm looking at this as a winter project. Some days I may work faster than other days. I'm looking to be done by, I want to say before March. Obviously, if I have to order any parts, you know, it'll be a week before I get the parts. Usually Kawasaki takes 4 or 5 days, but I want to say by the end of February I'll be done, just in time for the riding season for March. No more than 20 to 30 episodes. So I'm thinking about starting this build on Patreon, and if you guys want to support it by pledging, that money will obviously be used for the build, and whatever's left over, I will, or at least I hope to give some rewards away at the end of the series. No, I can't afford to give a bike away like some of my buddies like 650E, but I have pretty good taste, I assure you, and if you do support it, I will make some nice awards available, rewards, or whatever you call it, available for any of you that decide you want to support the build. I'd like to get more people involved with this as well. And I think that as a motorcycling community, we should support each other's projects, you know. And I'm always here to help if you have any questions about your build or your questions. And a lot of guys know me from the forums as well, ZX forums and H2 forum, and even the MV Augusta forum. Even though I don't post there as much as I used to. So that's it. I'm going to start this build series, and I'm going to get cracking on the engine, and hopefully I can get this thing, the engine done rather quickly, and then we'll start going into the chassis, and then eventually we'll do some carb tuning, body work. I may not use my old body work. This is an AirTech endurance kit, and as you can see, it's got the headlight, the single headlight cut out for the endurance racer. From back there, I may use this body work, or I may switch to a full race setup. I haven't decided yet, but that's the nice thing about, you know, Patreon. I can get the input from you guys, and obviously a lot of that too will depend on the budget, because, you know, this stuff isn't cheap. So that's it for now, and stay tuned for my first episode. I'll see you soon. My channel, I'm about to kick off my winter build, and want to get my ZX7 race bike ready, and like to ride it again for 2018. I know for 2016 and 2017 I rode primarily the Ninja H2, but I'd like to enter a couple of vintage races next year if I could find a class. So I want to get things ready. As you can see, the engine has already been apart. Dropped the motor from the bike, and gonna do this motor from scratch. Just to go over a few things. Got my crankshaft. It's polished, shaved 4 pounds off the crank a couple seasons ago. APE Performance did that for me out in California. It's knife edged and balanced to 14,000 RPM. Got my transmission, replaced second gear on it a couple seasons ago. These bearings are ceramic bearings, and they were provided by Worldwide Bearings. In the head, I had a Kibble White kit installed. I got titanium valve tappets here, and these cylinders are 1.5 millimeter overbore. I got the Waseco pistons, the high compression pistons, as you can see right here. Going to be installing these. These rods are Carrillo H-beam rods, and I had a little mishap a couple of seasons ago, and that's why it's in pieces. As you can see here, I have a manual cam chain tensioner. It wasn't adjusted correctly, and the rubber valve guide disintegrated and clogged the oil passage, and the rest is history. So have to start from scratch. Over here I have several carbs. As you can see, these are the CV carbs with the DynoJet kit installed already. These are ZX7R OEM flat slide carbs from 1996. We're not using these though. And these are the Sudco 41 millimeter flat slide carbs. As you can see, I have the adapter kit installed, but I have some aluminum tape over it just to kind of prevent any leakages. Inside here I've got the velocity stacks if I want to do like that kit airbox and then have the carbs sitting inside the airbox. I can either run a short stack. I got the 50 millimeter stacks, or a combination of such. I've got a race kit ECU, which is unobtainable now. You can't even get those. That was courtesy of a buddy out in the Midwest, who has access to a lot of ZX7RR kit parts. So I'm gonna get started on this, and the bike's been sitting. First things first, I'm gonna get all of this stuff cleaned up. I'm actually gonna be replacing all of the bearings. So the crankshaft, the main bearings there, and also the rod bearings. I already took cylinder number 3 off, as you can see. I'm gonna take off 1, 2, and 4 when we start the build. I'll bring you over here, and you can see I've got all the other parts, the camshafts. This cam was ground by a webcam, and going to be running a higher lift. for more mid-range torque, and everything else is pretty much OEM. And there's the bike over here on the floor. The reason why it's on the floor and not the stands is because I removed the suspension. So over here I got the Penske triple adjustable shock, and I got the forks in the corner somewhere. And I'm going to be running these Marvich wheels, cast magnesium. I'm going to have them repowder coated though before we mount them. So this is just a broad overview of the build, and if you'd like to support my build, I'll be providing the Patreon information shortly, and I'm expecting maybe 20 no more than 30 videos. This is going to be a winter project, so I'm going to take my time with it. I'm not going to be rushing. I want to get everything right and get everything all set for next season. This is just to kind of keep me occupied over the winter and also take my time getting parts. Also, if you guys have some ideas, you know, definitely, I mean, that's what it's for, just so you could chime in. Have some old race body work over here. This is AirTech. That's the endurance kit. It's got the cutout for the single headlight. You can see the headlight in the body work right there. I don't know if I'm going to run this or if I'm going to put something else on it, but that's pretty much it, guys. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys see this, just getting started. And if any of you guys ever wanted to learn how to work on a motor, I mean, definitely I think you'll enjoy this series. This isn't, you know, a high level, this isn't Ivy League engine building, alright? I just want to put that out there. This is just like what anybody could do to work on a bike and get their bike running. I'm going to be covering a wide range of topics. I may not go over the highly technical stuff. You might have to do some reading, but I'll probably recommend some reading for you guys to do if you want to learn, you know, about clearances and tolerances and cam degreeing and timing and things like that. I probably won't cover all of those topics, but I will probably chime in with some recommended reading or course material that you guys might want to look into. So that's it for now, and I'm pretty excited about it. I already got parts coming in. I got the bearings over here. Got some gaskets all ready to go. I think I have enough to complete the bottom end, so probably put up that first video within a week or so, and I'll be posting the Patreon information when I launch that first video. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.